Just trying to see what sort of creatures are in that. So, I see a little tiny worms there. Just find a little branch where it tees off. And there's one of these, that's the top of the trunk where it thins right down. And you can see it's glistening with water. And I don't know if it's going to show up on camera. But it's actually wringing wet. Amazing. So it really soaks up the water. You can see the water's actually wringing out there. So it's one of those things. With soil, you need the soil to be free draining, but you need it to retain water at the same time, which always sounds like a bit of a contradiction. But the good thing about this timber is it soaks the wood in like a sponge, and then it holds that moisture in, so it's available. So when it rains, rather than kind of washing off, and if you get clay in the summer, it obviously bakes like a kind of like a sort of ceramic pot, and in the winter it waterlogs. And the problem is when you get rain in the summer, it tends just to run off, and you get nutrient runoff as well. But that is actually, yeah, sopping wet. But the outside of it feels damp. So if that's in the soil, the surrounding soil will wick the moisture away. So it's good. It's like a kind of battery that stores the moisture. So it's like an underground sort of reservoir. But the good thing about this is it's free, and it's quite easy to raise a bed by 3 or 4 inches just by making a layer of these tree trunks at the bottom. Rather than invest in lots of sort of topsoil, you can kind of take advantage of these free materials, and because they're free, that doesn't mean they're any less effective than just a topsoil, and in a way they're far superior. But the top compost, I just used lots of fairly fresh horse manure and a layer of compost, and even though the horse manure wasn't completely broken down, there was enough compost there to sort of sustain the plants. So I was growing pumpkins and squash in this bed, and it was really productive. And like these things, it minimises the need for watering as well, so it saves labour. And it's very loads of worms in here. Can you see them? Yeah. And there was, as I was digging these through, there was some earthworms. I am kind of no dig, but for the benefit of these videos and for these experiments, I do kind of explore a bit. When I first set this up, I set it up with fresh brewer's waste around the timber as well, to kind of offset the nitrogen depletion from having that amount of carbon in the soil. I'm not really sure if that's strictly necessary.